In April 2025, my life took an unexpected turn. I was diagnosed with malignant ovarian neoplasm. Hi everyone, thank you for joining me today. I would like to share my story, a story on how my world was shaken and how I found peace beyond what I could imagine. Those words hit me hard, and my dreams, my plans, and even my perspective had shifted in an instant. But in those moments of chaos, I learned the power of surrender. Serenity isn't about the absence of problems, but having peace despite life's difficult circumstances. It is the wisdom to differentiate between the things that we can and the things that we cannot change, and having the courage to act on those things that we can change and accepting those that we cannot. Serenity, in simple word, means trusting God in all His power. In the midst of my fears and uncertainty, God had quieted my spirit, stopped my negative thoughts, and helped me rely on His divine power. Psalm 46:10 said, "Be still and know that I am God." God loves me and He is in control. Accepting my diagnosis that I would be undergoing a major surgery and a series of chemotherapy that would span for 6 months. It's really difficult. In fact, I know that I would be facing a lot of losses, such as I would lose my strength, I would lose my health, I would lose my hair, and the opportunity to serve both in Saddleback Kids and in the community. I will miss the opportunity to travel, to be with my friends and those happy occasions. I would also miss the opportunity to earn by teaching or doing math intervention and cooking home-cooked foods. And most especially, I will be not as a valuable support to my husband in taking care of our family. These uncertainties could easily lead to worry, bitterness, resentment, anger, self-pity. But I choose acceptance. I relied on God's promises, receiving His grace and mercy every day. And truly, God is faithful. God has a way of showing us that our carefully laid plans can change in an instant. Late last year, my husband decided that that's the end of our overseas working adventure. And early this year, we moved back here in the Philippines. And at the same time, I discovered I am sick. When the diagnosis came, all those plans were put on hold. Unfulfilled and delayed dreams could lead to discontent, but on the other hand, God had given me another opportunity. Instead of focusing on what I cannot do, I focused on what I can do. I started journaling and documented my chemotherapy experience through this YouTube channel called Hope Heals. And that had given me an opportunity to share my experience, to share the goodness of God, the power of prayer, and the benefits of suffering. Journaling or sharing my story is a good therapy for me, but it also inspired friends who need hope, healing, and encouragement from around the world. And I believe that it is God's way of letting me know that this is what He wanted me to do in my time of isolation. I am blessed by God by giving me a time to rest, to fully rest and pause from my chaotic schedule. This rest had been instrumental in my quick recovery, my immediate healing, for me experiencing minimal side effects and manageable post-infusion effects, and even a better perspective in life. This pause, this rest, this surrender had given me peace. The final lesson I learned from surrender is to entrust the future with God. We are encouraged to trust in the Lord with all our hearts and lean not on our own understanding, and in all our ways acknowledge Him, and He will make our path straight. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5 to 6. It tells us not to rely on our own wisdom because God's thoughts are higher than ours. And we rely on God's plan because His plan is good. Truly, God's good is gooder than our good. If we acknowledge God, God promised that He will keep us on the right track. That means He will provide and He will be true to His promise. And truly, God has been faithful because He not only provided my medical needs, but He took care of my physical, emotional, and spiritual needs. I found new ways of serving Him even from home by volunteering in the kids' small group this September, and also giving inspirational message to Saddleback Kids on their Team United and the Women's Retreat. My embutido business is on the roll even during my chemotherapy. So see how faithful God works. In the seemingly negative situation, I learned new skill and I enjoyed myself doing the things that I couldn't do when I'm busy. First, cross-stitching, 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, 15 and 18, which tells me to rejoice always, pray without ceasing, and give thanks in all circumstances because this is God's will for us. Okay? And aside from that, I learned how to crochet. I had made a blanket for my granddaughter, another blanket for my grandson, and come Christmas, I am ready with the Christmas present for my granddaughter, a beanie, my grandson, a Christmas beanie, and another grandson, a Christmas beanie. Surrender isn't easy, and sometimes you have to do it every day. God is asking you today, which area in your life do you need God's healing and intervention? Is there any part of your body that needs medical attention? Or maybe there is an addiction that we've been trying to eliminate with our own power but we cannot. Or maybe it's our worry with our finances. Or maybe it's the desire to control and overpower our husband with the decisions at home. Whether it's in the past, in the present, or in the future, God is calling us to surrender, to accept the things that we cannot change, helping you to change the things that you should change, and surrender to express our faith. There is still uncertainty in my life, like the likelihood that the cancer would come back. But I have full confidence in certainty that God would remain faithful and His love will never change. I learned that when we surrender our plans, our dreams, our life to God, we can find peace that the world cannot give. It is in surrendering that we find true strength. And it is in trusting God's will that we find purpose.